Welcome to SerialPodcastNine.
Hey, you know what's really exciting about tonight's episode, you guys?
What?
We got a question from our pal Eric.
Eric Weber.
Okay. Sweet.
Yeah, but before we do that, we got to do the intro because I know if we don't tell him what episode number it is, he'll be really let down. So let's do the intro.
Eric needs to know.
Oh, I'm Gerard Peralta.
And I'm Kevin Peterson.
And I'm Ryan Benoit, and this is Serial Podcast 9, episode 40.
Man,
I don't even know.
It's episode 46.
46.
Episode 46. Our boy Eric Weber wrote in with a real great question. He said, "Dear Ryan, I love the intro. I never stop doing it. Now that the specs are out for the new Z/Z for our American listeners." That's not what he wrote. I ad-libbed that part. All right. So now that the new Z is out, which do you pick? The new Z or the Supra? The Supra is faster, lighter by 200 pounds, now available in a manual, and the price of the Z performance version is the same as the Supra. Also, that's not how Eric would have asked that question. Never with that much emphasis, but I love it anyway. So the question is, the new Z, which Gerard, you have been a fan of since we started this podcast, I feel like.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the one constant thing that you've been constant about. Now is we have the specs, it's out. This compared to the Supra, what do you choose?
Kevin can go first.
Well, I'd probably just choose 34 Echoes.
Yes, we are doing it.
Yeah, I got to be true to form, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I also probably would just be true to form and choose the Supra, maybe, you know? Like,
Yeah.
Even though it's not a Toyota.
With who brung ya?
I know, you know, like, at least like the Nissan's like through and through like a Nissan, and like, it is a hard one.
Is
Like,
it though? Because you used to be like, well, we don't have that money anyways, so we're not choosing any of them.
Well, that's kind of what I mean. It's like, yeah, I don't know. Like,
And like, why would you buy a gas car anyways, bro? It's like 233 cents a liter, bro. Like,
I mean, I kind of not even on the price, but just on the, like, if I'm buying a car that's
70
around
grand.
around that
Canadian.
range, yeah, I kind of might want like an electric car, you know? I was saying it to Gerard today. I'm like, you know, like we're master samurais, and like we're showing up to gunfights, you know? Like that's like the paradigm shift that like the electric cars are right now. It's like you're
But you
just
have to remember-
you're so far outclassed. It's not even funny.
But you have to remember that like the art of like samurai swords and like tradition and all that shit is still like a big fucking deal in a lot of, you know,
Yeah,
mostly Japanese culture, obviously. But
No,
like,
and it's still sick.
Yeah,
and like
it's still sick.
you know,
Yeah.
respected and like, yeah.
But when
there's
you're
some pretty
fighting
sick
a
guns
war,
too, though.
Yeah, exactly. When you're doing it like,
look, we've all seen The
Life and
Last
Death.
Samurai with Tom Cruise. No, I've seen it.
No, I haven't seen it.
yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
I enjoy that, Kevin. You did like the samurai analogy, because as soon as you did that, I thought of Sean Connery in The Untouchables, and it's like a way more crass analogy. So I'm glad.
What
you
about
went with the samurai
Indiana
one.
Jones, when the dude like does the like
Oh,
elaborate?
classic.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then he shoots him.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, also all the great things.
Hey,
All right.
Ryan,
Yeah.
which one would you choose?
Well, I want to start by saying it's very funny because I, for the first time in a long time, was like, hey, I messaged you guys before the podcast. I was like, we're going to talk about this. Do your research.
Yeah.
And then I immediately remembered why I don't do that. And it was because as soon as you asked Gerard a question, he goes like, there's no stopping. And it's just like, here I go. And I'm like, oh, shit. He's going to answer all these things, and then he's not going to want to say it on the podcast. I was like, what a fucking rookie mistake on my part.
Well, I will say one thing. It did give me a chance to research both cars thoroughly.
Oh,
Oh,
good.
really?
Yeah, and I did. Well, I didn't do it, but it gave me a chance to do it.
Yeah.
I didn't either. I mean, I sort of watched a few videos and stuff, but like, I feel like a lot of those videos, like, oh, like it can't do a burnout. I mean, yeah, it can't do a burnout, which honestly is pretty fucking stupid. But like, if that's the reason you're not going to buy it, that's pretty dumb. Like, I guarantee you, in like 2 seconds, that's going to be tuned. And
Yeah, or you like
a
take a fucking fuse out or something.
Yeah,
like,
it's a Nissan, man. You yeah, exactly. Take out the TRC. I don't know. You take out some fuse and it'll just do anything you want it to do. But I mean, also the advantage of the Supra. Well, the better part about the Supra now that it's a BMW is you can tune it. Because let's be honest, if Toyota made that Supra, it wouldn't be fucking half the car. It would suck. You know what I mean?
What is that noise?
Oh, sorry, that's me spinning the phone. Sorry.
I'll do it.
Yeah, like so if BMW didn't have a hand in the Supra, then nobody would even look at it, in my opinion.
I mean, I think that's completely untrue, but
I don't know. Like what has Toyota made recently that's remotely exciting besides this Yaris or whatever GR thing that
Corolla,
whatever the fuck it is. Everyone thinks it's amazing, but nobody has it. Well, obviously they can't buy it yet, but like,
yeah, I know
the BRZ, which isn't a Toyota either.
People are pining for the Supra forever, you know.
Yeah,
they're pining for the image of the Supra, the romanticizing about the Supra because it was like the legendary JDM car. And like, I don't have anything against the BMW aspect of it. I just, as a purist, if I'm buying a Toyota, I would probably like it to be a Toyota because I could just buy a BMW. You know what I mean? Although, like the Supra, in my opinion, looks better than any of the BMWs for sure.
Yeah, Supra looks way better.
And honestly, between the Supra and the Z, I still kind of think the Supra looks better. It's definitely more like swoopy and dynamic, and like, you know, the Z is very, I don't know what the word is, like bare bones, but
very Nissan of them.
No, I mean, Nissan's like look sick. They're always like, it's a tough one, man. Because like the other thing too is like that VR doesn't sound good, no matter what you do to it. It sounds like garbage, in my opinion. Like I've listened to hundreds of sound clips of the VR, and like it never sounds good. You know what I mean? The 30, the 38, like in my opinion, none of them really sound good. So like if you're driving a 6-speed manual car for like the enjoyment of it, I would like to enjoy the fucking sound of it. And the Supra sounds sick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's fast, super fast.
Yeah, that's like a well-developed motor.
But then again, yeah, it's...
Then it's BMW. So I also was like, man, we got all this time to research. And then instead I watched a 1991 pilot TV show that Conan O'Brien wrote, that with Adam West in it, and then fell asleep in a chair sitting up. So I also did not use my time wisely. The show was pretty I was like, all right, time to do this. I'm like, ooh, what's this? All right. Conan made this. Anyway, lucky for us, Eric was very Eric about this, and he provided us with tons of points.
He wrote his own answer.
Oh yeah, no, we should have had him maybe on because he clearly had did the homework that none of us were willing to do. Anyway,
well, lay it on me, Eric.
Yeah, here we go. He said, yeah, both are 51K USD, similar option. He said, I read last night that some of the journalists were complaining of the steering feel on the Z and saying it was pretty dead. And neither the auto or the manual version of the car will let you do a burnout out of the box, which was what Gerard has already covered. Okay. And I said, oh, really? Exclamation point. I didn't want to be too influenced because I thought Gerard and Kevin would fill me in and I would then make up my mind at the end of the podcast, which is not what's going to happen, I think. Maybe for comparison's sake, say the Supra and the Z are within $2,000 to $3,000 of each other. And that difference in price is negligible. So, I mean, and I liked that comment. And I think this is a really great topic. And I really hedged my bets on getting a whole episode out of this. So let's see what we can do.
I mean, I could definitely talk about it for hours on end.
Well, good, because that's what we're about to do. I think I'm with Kevin, and I picked the Supra for all of the reasons that we listed. I think it looks more dynamic. Swoopy, as Gerard, I think that's what you said. Is that right?
Yeah, like the taillights are nuts. They're super dope.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I see, and I haven't.
And the like
seen
rear
the new-
haunches. It's just it's no FT1 concept or whatever. That thing would have been amazing, but it's still pretty
damn close, man. It's pretty damn close for a production car.
I haven't seen the new Z in person yet, or Z for our Canadians.
No, I haven't seen.
But I do know that when I see a Supra drive by, I turn my head. Like I'm like, whoa, like, and I do that. I can't control it. And I'm like, that looks pretty cool. Whenever I see it, I'm like, that is a pretty good looking car. And maybe the Z will convince me otherwise. Our friend Alex from Rare Spec is at home punching some concrete walls or whatever he does to stay in shape because he's probably mad about the wheels. I wanted to say drywall, but I was
which wheels?
He was mad about because they're like BMW wheel fitment, right? Or like, aren't they BMW wheel? Like you have to put it's not like the stud or whatever.
Oh, the bolts on a Supra?
On the Supra?
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's like about as important as the can't do a burnout out of the box. Actually, no, that's not true. Because I guess if you buy the car, you probably want to do a burnout like for the first week or month that you have it before you get the tune on it.
Yeah. But that was a thing when it came out. And I was like, yo, this car's pretty dope. He's like, look at the wheels. And I was like, okay.
You can get a stud conversion for like $100.
I think Ryan's maybe talking, isn't it 5 by like 120 or whatever?
It's a weird size as well, isn't it?
It's BMW, so what? Yeah.
So you can't put all your wheels off your S14 on.
I mean, yeah, if you want to put fucking 18s on a Supra, I guess.
What size wheels would you put on a Supra?
19s at least. Probably 19s.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where I live. In 19 neighborhood.
19 world.
Yeah, 19s, buddy. Yeah, so I would pick the Supra for the nostalgia sake, and probably even for the badge. And even though it's a BMW, it's still an inline six, which is cool to me.
I think it's really cool that like to have a modern day inline six, in my opinion, is pretty high up on the coolness scale, man. Like it's fucking super cool.
If the Z was cheaper, I would.
No, but you know the Z is cheaper. Like
Eric is saying it's negligible, and
but what I'm saying in IRL, if you were to, because which one of us here would leave the car stock? None, right?
Well, also, like I don't even think just getting the car. It's like, it's probably, but you're going to go buy your Supra and there's going to be like $20,000 of dealer adjustment on top of it. Whereas the Z, there's going to be like a bunch of them and they'll probably just sell it to you for what they're supposed to sell it to you for too,
Yeah. Well, I was thinking more along the lines of like, you're obviously going to build the thing. The Z or Nissans in general are more like popular, like with the kind of like, let's call it peasant brands. So for you to build a Z, if you wanted to build it cheaper, would be cheaper than building a Supra, in my opinion. Like I know the Supra is super popular. It's been out for a while, all that stuff. But like, I feel like it's still a little bit of a niche car. Like, I don't think a lot of the companies that build like S13 stuff have really jumped on that Supra thing, but they're probably going to definitely jump on the Z thing because they probably already make Z34 parts, which are the same as Z35 parts or whatever the chassis code is.
Yeah, but counterpoint, I believe my steering wheel says no mercy for peasants. So who cares? You said peasant brands.
Yeah, no, for sure. I agree.
Okay, so this is the other point that Eric made. Was the new GR86 is actually the gunner car to drive.
Gunner.
I think, yeah.
Funner, obviously.
It's obviously funner.
Well, he wrote, it could be gunner, like you're a gunner and a...
Come on, man.
Okay.
Speaking of which, I got a ride in a nicely set up GR86, like brand new one recently. And I was like, okay, yeah, this is fucking nuts. Like, would I ever buy one? No. But like, is it nuts? Yes, it's a go-kart. 100%. 100%.
All right, hang on. Time out. You are right. He did correct himself at the bottom and say funner. But isn't it technically more fun? I don't think funner is a word. It doesn't matter.
That's why I corrected to gunner.
Yeah, fucking. That's why what it should be. It's fucking like an
English
like
lessons
X-wing.
with fucking Benoit here.
Yeah, here we go.
Read between the lines with Benoit here.
Yeah,
Anyways.
buddy. Yeah, the gunner car to drive.
Okay, get to the point.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I think it's kind of cool looking. Yeah, the engine is still whatever, but it does have. But the newer one still does have more power. It's 650 pounds lighter than the base Z, and its base model is 12K USD cheaper than the Z base model. Which one would you take, base Z or the base GR86 with 12K in your pocket to make it better? It is killing me to say Z instead of Z, just so you guys
Just
know.
say
Like,
fucking Z then. Who cares?
I don't know where I don't want.
I would never say Z. It's harder to fucking say, and like it seems to take longer.
I want to get into syndication.
I say both.
I want to be in syndication, so I'm playing to the American audience.
I mean, they know what Z means. They're just like, oh, that's.
Oh, they laugh at. They're all gonna laugh at me.
Who gives
I don't
a fuck?
want that.
We're Canadian.
Yeah. Well, I'm super Canadian.
Yeah, no doubt about it, eh?
Yeah.
No dude about it. I come from Regina, Saskatchewan. People love that name, is what I found out.
Who doesn't love
Saskatchewan is a pretty stupid name. It's about as good as Coquitlam.
What about Regina?
Oh, Regina is the one that gets everyone.
Oh, it's the vagina. Okay.
Yeah. Because we're all 12-year-olds.
Inside, yeah. At least inside.
Okay. So now a new competitor enters the ring. You buy a Supra, a Z/Z, or the GR86.
With episode 47? Z/Z? Okay, so GR86, in my opinion, is I like the look of it. I probably would never buy one. Not a chance I would spend my hard-earned money on that car. I would just buy a slightly older, four-door, more powerful, non-peasant car. Not that I mean, like non-base model. No matter how optioned that thing out, it's still like a pretty Spartan
It's an
car.
S chassis built by
Yeah, I mean,
Toyota.
That's
how I
probably
felt about it.
It's probably amazing. Like if I were maybe to build a budget track car, that would be great. But like even for me, any of these cars is stretched to buy a 2-seat car that's like, you know what I mean? Like I get to enjoy it with one of my kids once in a while, or my wife, like, or by myself. I guess that's cool. But like, yeah, so any of these cars being a stretch, the GR86 100% is out. Like, and it's just nothing to it. Like both of the other cars, you can, they come with turbos, you could tune them. They're like big power cars potentially, right? Whereas the GR86 is like, you literally have to re-engineer the wheel to make to the next level, which the other cars are kind of already at. So GR86 is out for me.
Woo. But it's the same amount of real estate, right?
No, they're bigger cars. Like the GR is tiny for sure. Sure. Like sitting in it, I was like,
they're still all
like
2-seaters though.
Yeah, no, I agree.
They're all
like you're not gaining more. Yeah, like.
But it also looks like a
Gerard
car.
Rules of real estate. Is
you know
what
what
we're
I mean?
not doing.
Yeah.
You could just drive your favorite kid around. You could choose your favorite kid that week, and then
or whatever kid is going to the one, the activity at that time. Maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Kevin's answer is better than choosing your favorite.
I mean, realistically, they could just all ride it and just stuff them in the back and just like get chucked around in the fucking hatch or whatever, whichever one has the biggest hatch.
Or I mean, I don't know. When I was younger, you just ride on someone's lap.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No.
Kevin,
I'm gonna pick the Z. I'm gonna throw a curveball on y'all. Just take the Z.
What? Now that we've added a third car, you're like, I don't want the Supra anymore. I've decided.
I thought it was only between the Z.
Yeah, currently we're like, sort of between whether the GR86 is viable in this comparison is what we were talking about.
Yeah, if the three were in the arena, you would take
because now we're talking about the base level Z. Now.
Okay.
I mean, that's
all right. So we're not even going to talk about
because before we were talking about the top of the line Z versus the Supra was within whatever $2,000, and now the bottom of the line Z is within $12,000 of the GR86.
Right. So okay, we can do that. I was just being like,
I would just wait 1 year and buy the Z. Right? Like, who's buying a car brand new these days?
Okay. So you take the Z over the GR86.
I mean, I was honestly just saying that to be like a goofball, but I mean, I don't know. Like,
I think I might.
I would just go drive. I would have to go drive both of them, and then
imagine everything you wanted your AE86 to be, Kevin, and that's the GR86.
Oh, now Dave Vickers is at home.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if
drywall.
I don't know if it is, but yeah.
I mean, it certainly sticks to the road. Like he had 245s on it. Was like 245s on that little car that are like, sticky tires.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Like the amount of mechanical grip that thing has. It's like,
whose car was it?
Kevin Kasusi from Evo.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Got it.
It has like some like newly developed like PBM coilovers. It has like gram lights and like sticky. I don't remember the tire exactly, but it's like a 200 treadwear sticky ass tire. And he's like he races cars, so he definitely kind of knows how to drive. So he took me for a rip, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm done." Like that's like the shit I used to do when I was like, I should never ever have a car that sticky or that, you know what I mean? Like I would just get into so much trouble with that shit. It's too much.
Hang on though. For longtime listeners of the podcast, Gerard said gram light. He meant to say gram heavy. A joke that he's made several times. Can't leave that laying around in the lurches. Okay. All right. What would I take so I'm choosing between the two. Initially I thought the Z, but maybe I would take the GR86.
Really? Tell us why, Ryan.
Fuck, I don't even know. Because it's a Toyota. Honestly, my reasoning for it was so superficial. I was like, I'd take the Z because it's worth more, and it seems like a more grown-up car. And then I was
a more grown-up car.
Yeah. And then I was like, or you could have the GR86 and all the things Gerard just said. But I haven't driven either of them. So I drove the old FRS when it first came out, but that's not the same. I guess I don't have enough to go on, but it's not a bad looking car. It is a Toyota.
The new ones look sick for sure.
Yeah.
Hands down, the new GR86 like looks fully sick.
But I do love like Datsun Zs a lot, and the Z obviously has a lot of heavy influence from that in it, which is kind of like very enticing. That's a tough one.
It's a bit. I feel like it's a bit weird too. Like how we literally.
Like it honestly is a tough one, right?
Yeah.
Like today, we literally had a meeting about steering wheel designs, and like we were trying to come up with one that we kind of always have in stock. It's a bit more conservative. It's a bit more whatever. And then I sort of fielded one that was kind of crazier, and everyone just was like, "Yo, that's the one." But I feel like with the Nissan Z, what they did was sort of like they shelved all the like what it could look like, and they just released a kind of like pretty generic, like, okay, here's what we're giving you right now. It's like, you know what I mean? It doesn't even really have aero. It kind of like looks a bit like it fully looks like a base model, no matter how optioned out it is. It's like if you look at what's offered today by like Mercedes or BMW or like fucking even Volvo, like the cars look super crazy. The Z doesn't look super crazy. It's a great looking car.
Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of it.
It's very simple. Like it's very simple, and I feel like it's subtle, and I feel like they spent a lot of time to kind of do the less is more. Like obviously the shape and everything is like homage to the old, and it has cues from all the other Zs. But like I feel like that simple shape has a ton of potential. Like I think that car will and can look amazing. Like even just Forsberg's with the drop in wheels, like it's a fucking sick car, man.
I'm gonna say a really dumb thing because that's what I do. I think the Z and the GR86 in design aren't like just how they look. If you
too
like,
far apart,
actually, they aren't that far apart. Like actually, Toyota was pretty smart. Now that I like actually look at this, because the conversation now we're having has just shifted from like, do you get the Z or do you get the GR86? Like we've abandoned the Supra part of the conversation because the Supra.
Well, I mean, because we're going to revisit it after we ditch the
GR. Yeah, but now I'm looking at them. I'm like, they to me look a lot alike. So I guess I'm just betting on power and handling at that point.
Yeah,
which is probably blasphemy for a lot of people, or they're upset and they're like, I'm not paying attention to it. But at a quick glance, like there's a lot of a lot of photos of them in profile, and like they're not too far off from each
Yeah, like
other.
the Supra has a very unique shape. Like you're not mistaking that car for something else.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, a lot of people are like, oh, the new Z looks like a Mustang.
Yeah,
They look pretty different.
Yeah, no, they do. And the Supra looks
but yeah, like a lot of people are like, oh yeah, the new Z looks like a Mustang. It's like they both have that kind of like super small greenhouse, the really long sloping roof, like hatch roof thing. But the Mustang's huge. So like I don't really know how. And plus, like they have totally different front ends. I guess maybe just like in passing, if you didn't, you just like, oh, like what was that loud thing? Which actually I guess it's not, because it's super quiet. But like, yeah, even that, for example, like it's like Nissan's releasing their sort of like crowning glory sports car, and it has like the lamest exhaust in the world, when like BMW is literally getting pulled over for having super loud, you know what I mean? And like Mercedes is popping and crackling, and like every car is nuts. And then Nissan's like, well, we're just going to give you this like taste of what we're doing.
Maybe they're banking on people like us to buy it and mod it.
I mean, I feel like that's a huge, like they know that market, man, for sure. Like if anybody does, Nissan does. I mean, realistically, I think the GR is more stylistically interesting as far as modern styling. But because the Z is a throwback style, I feel like you probably have to really see it in person and like examine it, with some, like really kind of look at it in person and see all these nuances that are like, oh shit, like that's pretty cool, or that's pretty cool. In the photos, I bet you it just doesn't really do it justice. Whereas like a more interesting shape like the Supra or the GR, like you can see the curves, you can see all that stuff. And it's like, if you look at it in person, it's probably not that different, but you know what I mean? That's my opinion.
I think you're probably right. And maybe I will see that the Z/Z in person and be like, oh, wow, that's actually really cool. Okay. So you put all three in the arena. I feel like we just all choose a Supra then, don't we?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
What are you buying? You have enough money. All right, here's the thing, Gerard. You have enough money. We're not giving you a car because that's silly, but you have enough money. And for some reason, you want to buy one of these three cars.
I have to buy, like you're forcing me to buy one of the three, because otherwise I would just take the money and not buy any of them.
Exactly. What are you doing?
I don't know.
Actually, here's a nicer scenario. You have the money, and if you buy one of the three cars, all of your dreams come true. It's like a genius.
But like, what about now? Do you get to keep the remaining money to make the car better from the?
If remaining money. Oh, the GR.
Like if you got the GR,
yeah. If you get the GR, you get to keep the remaining money, but you get to put it into the car.
Well, I mean, also I know that the VR is a proven platform. I think the thing too, though, with the VR versus the B58, they don't make as much power. Like they're making ridiculous numbers on the B58. It's fully just like 2JZ territory. So like,
the
potential is
like, that's why I'm like, I feel like it is like the next, it's fully like the next Supra. Like,
I feel like if you did, let's say you got to get the car and do 5 mods, right?
Okay.
I think you would end up with a better car with the Supra. Maybe it's not as... See, the thing I hate about Nissans that like I kind of really love about Nissans, but like I've always hated it like previously.
How fast the windows are.
No. Well, sorry. Well, it's stuff like that. It's like
how cheap it feels.
No, like Nissans are true to their roots. Like they really, really value that lineage of the Z or the Z, right? Like that's like like Toyota, like, I mean, they probably do a bit with the Supra. They're kind of like, oh, hey, like we haven't had a Supra in a long time. So like, we should probably do something about that. And they're like, yeah. Like, let's sell a few more Camrys and, let's bring our name up a bit. And then, we'll get back to that Supra thing. And how long was it? I don't know, 10, 15, 20 years that they didn't have a Supra. because they kind of didn't give a shit. Whereas Nissan's, since the beginning, literally given the most shits. So I really think that's cool with Nissan.
Yeah, I think honestly, it's like when Toyota's trying to do something, they fucking do it. You know?
Oh yeah.
But like they weren't really trying with the new Supra. You know?
Yeah, they just happened to pick something that, like, pretty much any BMW you buy right now can be tuned and does rip. So like it doesn't, they just pick the best one and they're okay. Yeah, that's going to be our Supra.
Yeah, and they were like, all right, change these things so that like it's actually Toyota reliable.
Yeah, if it is, I don't
It
even
just
know.
isn't bad. That'd be cool. Like,
but that's what I mean. It's like they didn't give
Toyota,
enough shits to like design their own fucking car. They
That's
gave
a
enough
lot of
shits
money.
to like have the car.
But I mean, that's the thing. It's like when they do give enough shits, it's like the LFA, and they just like lose money on it, and like
yeah, that's probably a valuable lesson.
It's almost to me like the
fuck.
scenario of like the guy who's building the car forever. You know what I mean? There's the guy who's like, I'm going to have the sickest car. It's going to be so sick. I got all these like, I'm building my engine. It's going to have 800 horse, this and that. And then you get the like regular guy who's like, yeah, I'm just going to buy this like pretty good car and I'm just going to go drive it. Like, yeah, I put exhaust on it. I got headers or, a turbo upgrade or whatever. And I'm just going to drive it. So the guy's literally driving his car for the next 5 years. And this guy hasn't finished his car for the past 5 years. You know what I mean? That's my...
Yeah. That's
What's
your
the
analogy
analogy
for Toyota?
That's my analogy for Toyota and Nissan. And also, like, the thing is, like, Nissan's fucking cool because all their cars are, well, I mean, maybe not like today, but like all their cars throughout the years were cool. Like they got the Skyline. Like, what the fuck does Toyota have to, you know what I mean?
The Supra.
the Celica, bro.
No, but the Supra and the Z are the competitors. So yeah, they had the Celica, which was cool.
Yo, they have the Cressida, they have the Mark II, they have the Chaser.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
All the cars
They have
fucking love.
The AE86, the TE, the Mango.
Just saying, like none of those.
They have the Crown, the Corona,
sedan. Like,
I mean, don't get me wrong; those cars are all awesome, but I mean, they're not like motorsports.
All right, now tell me about all the Nissans that you've owned that you love. Q35 that you haven't driven.
No, man, Xterra.
Oh, the Xterra. That's right. That's a real thing.
Xterra, Patrol, or QX, or whatever you want to call it.
Right. No, good point, Kevin. I was just going to let that go. And then you have listed all the fucking rad cars.
I would say the only like, rad cars out of that comment are the X chassis. Like the X chassis lineage to me is the only thing comparable with Toyota. And I mean, they ditched it with the Mark X. So like,
yeah,
cool.
Well, I mean, here we are. Actually, just like all the things you're shitting on is kind of like the basis of our friendship, which is pretty funny.
It's also funny because the car that I'm choosing to build is like literally that car.
Yeah, it's like what is
yeah, like I'm not building a Z,
I mean,
or any, you know what I mean.
You know what the problem with the Z/Z will be is it's cool now. But like
I'd probably rather build like a Q50 or whatever than the Z. Like,
but see, that's the thing is, I think maybe the old Gerard would totally have done that too. But like,
you're never older than you've been right now.
What I'm saying is like, in the past, we're like, this is gonna be sick. We know better. It's gonna be sicker than, you know what I mean? Like to have like a 6-speed twin turbo sedan Q50, like it's going to be so sick and this and that. And it's like, Nissan didn't bank on that car to be like the performance car. It probably has performance. It probably has cool things, but like if you want a car,
sort of all I need. I don't need maximum performance, you know, I need some performance and like,
I mean, yes and no.
And to look at like how I want to look, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but the thing is, like the sports cars have all the good shit to start with. That's like all these dudes buying GXs just to get into the JZX like market or the JZX game. It's like you don't know that a GX drives quite a bit different than a JZX. No matter, like, you're gonna have to put all the JZX stuff on the car.
No, man, it's a chaser.
Yeah, exactly. And like I think the Z and the Supra and the GR86 all have the good shit. So like you couldn't basically replicate that unless they use the exact same parts. I don't know. But if I'm not mistaken, there's no sedan that uses like the Z34 rack. I mean, I think the Fuga might be pretty close, but like, you know, that's like an old ass car already. The Q50s have like weird electric steering and shit. I don't know. Like they got super bad reviews, which is weird. For 1 year, they used like really fucked up steering. Then they think they just went back. I don't know.
Huh.
But yeah, they were saying about the steering feels dead on the Z.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck, maybe they're using some weird ass electric rack now too. Who knows? But I mean, that's very un-Nissan like. Is it steer by wire? Who the fuck knows? It could be. But that would be even more fucked. But no, they were saying, what car was that? I swear it's the Taycan that has steer by wire, but it has like the best steering, like one of, you know, it's like a highly regarded steering system, yet it is drive by wire. So I don't know how many hours of development they put into that. Probably not like this. If the Z has electric steering, probably not nearly as much as Porsche. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I like that we now call every car by two different names, which is nice. Taycan. Celica.
It's called Taycan is how you're supposed to say it.
Taycan.
We just say Taycan.
It's like Comic-Con. Taycan.
I don't know. Man. The Supra,
What don't you know?
I guess. I have a lot, but the Supra is probably the answer after this long conversation. And the point is, in 12 years, that Z/Z is going to be fucking annoying because it'll be affordable to everybody. I'll just be driving around with loud ass exhausts.
Except you're wrong because the Zs are going to be worth. Ultimately, I think the Zs will be worth more money.
Maybe.
I don't think so.
Than the Supra?
Yeah, I think just in terms of scarcity.
Maybe.
Like Ryan just said, everyone's going to have a Z. So how will they be worth more?
What's more expensive on the used car market? Any Toyota or any Nissan?
I mean, yeah,
Toyota.
pretty much.
Nissan.
It's pretty much like all the super old Nissans are worth a fucking ton of money.
Yeah,
but
like there's no Toyota that's worth. I mean, maybe the best Supra is worth $200,000.
No, the 2000 GT it is.
Okay, yeah, I mean that's like there's like 6 of those in the world.
That's what I mean, though. Like, it's all about scarcity.
But what I'm saying is, like,
all right,
any R34 is worth a ludicrous amount of money.
Fucking Skyline. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Like,
so what does Toyota have to compare?
Only the Mark IV.
The only thing they have is the Mark IV. Like I obviously Z32s and stuff aren't worth a bunch of money. Z33s aren't worth a bunch of money yet. I don't know if Z31s will ever be worth money, but like S30Zs are certainly worth a lot of money.
I mean, every single car is worth a bunch of money right now.
Yeah, but like an 8.6 is worth a lot of money, you know? Like,
yeah. But is there going to be $100,000 8.6?
Maybe.
Probably at some point.
Yeah,
I mean,
probably.
S15s are worth a lot of money.
That's what I'm saying. S15s.
All these cars, we've made episodes where we've just complained about how expensive all the cars that were meant to be cheaper now are expensive. And it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I mean, it is that thing where Nissans are disposable until they're not. And then all of a sudden the price shoots up like 8 million %.
Yeah.
What about this? What if you're just like weekend road tripping it, you know?
Road tripping it?
Yeah, you and the wife get away. Like, if you don't have to, like, it's not your car forever. Like, does that change your opinion on what you're going to take?
It does, man. It does. I honestly, one of the biggest killers for the Z for me, Z, whatever the fuck you want to call it, is the engine. I like the VR30. I just don't like the way it sounds. And I don't know what type of exhaust you got to put on it. I haven't heard it yet. It does not sound good. And if I'm cruising that thing down the highway and hitting red line and like fucking banging limiter or doing whatever, I want to hear something that sounds sick, you know, and like the B58 sounds sick.
You know, what's funny is that we were like, we haven't even talked about the R35.
I mean, why would you talk about the R35?
I don't know, but that's like actually their full-on performance car. Like,
you're talking about like in the realm of just
the way Supra? That we were actually talking about things is like, I forgot that the R35. It's like,
that's
R35.
I mean, that's a perfect point. It's like, Toyota, come play with us. Okay, yeah, let me bring my best car. It's a Supra. Oh, okay, cool. Nice Supra. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I got the Z. Oh,
What
it's
about
like,
the LFA, man?
I mean, really, man?
Yeah.
Who has an LFA?
But that's still the
dopest-
thing. It's
the
like the
dopest people.
like Nissan. It's a different outlook. It's like Nissan wants to make a sports car that everyone can have, and Toyota just wants
Yeah,
to
that's a rad outlook.
show you that they can make the best thing in the world almost.
Yeah,
you
that
know?
you can't have.
Gerard, you don't feel that way about anything. Like you have the Toyota outlook on everything, and you aspire to have the Nissan outlook on everything.
I mean, I don't think so. We don't. Our price. I'm always the guy who wants to sell the parts for cheaper.
No. I'm not talking about the parts. I'm talking about you with the cars that you choose. You choose like I was like I could instead of building
the weirdest ones.
You're like I'll build the most unique one. Like Toyota is what Kevin just said. It's like they're the one. There's the one that everybody can have, or like the unique special thing. And you have always, to this point, been the unique special thing. You've never been the everybody else has it, so I should have it. Also, your analogy for like how Toyotas are the guy in the garage building a car for 5 years is you when you were a teenager. You are the 100%. Toyota.
Yeah,
you're
that's why I know it's stupid.
He's been beating his head against the wall.
Yeah. I'm such a Toyota.
You know what it is? It's me riding around in all my friends' cars every single weekend, thinking in my head, my car's way sicker than this. My car's going to be so much sicker than this. And then guess what? Like summers went by and like I would just ride around in these cars like some fucking schlump and just like, like.
All right. But you can have an R35 or an LFA. What do you take?
I mean, I'm taking the LFA.
Yeah.
Those aren't comparable, man. It's like, would you rather have a jumbo jet or a Cessna? Like, it's like,
I'm just curious.
I mean, the LFA is cool. I honestly don't even know that much about it. I just know that it's like crazy, but like, it's like an F1 car, man. Like, who gives a shit? Like, you never see them, and like, even if you did see it, like, are you going to drive the thing around because it's worth so much money? And like, I don't know. It's
you would. I know you would. You would, and you'd go by the skate park and you'd fucking rev the shit out of it.
I want an LC 500.
Yeah. Why don't you get one?
I don't know. They're just so gorgeous.
Yeah, they're probably. I mean, I hope they're nice to drive, but I can't imagine them being too nice to drive.
I know. You know,
you should go drive one and see.
You know, just show up in the Altezza, be like, "Hello, can I please drive this $120,000 car?"
Yes.
Are they only that much? That doesn't seem like that much.
Yeah, I think. For a used one,
Gerard could borrow his brother-in-law's Porsche, show up and go drive on.
Yeah,
I wouldn't give a shit. Just show up in the Blit or something, or show up in the Kulex.
Let me drive this shit.
I mean, unless they require you to have a deposit or something. Most places are. They don't. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you just got to leave.
I wonder how many like 40-year-olds are showing up and trying to like test drive cars like that anyway that they don't intend to buy.
Yeah.
We should go try it.
We should.
We should film it. I will have undercover cameras. We'll make
yeah. Undercover. We can get dressed up and be like, "Oh, hello. I'd like to test drive.
Hello, good sir."
I don't think it's even necessary. You just dress like a fucking bum and be like, pretend like most bums that buy those, like most people. No, I can't even talk, man.
What are you talking about? Dress like
rich people today don't even look like rich people, man.
Oh, I see.
None of those guys that
like wear.
You think okay, all the like luxury cars, like the luxury cars that get purchased in Vancouver. Do you think those kids dress up to go buy those cars? They don't give a fuck. They probably show up in pajamas, man. Oh yeah, I want to buy it.
They're wearing like whole rent-free pajamas that are worth like $9,000 already. So like, you know, like.
Yeah, that's true. But like, they're still pajamas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Pajamas are pajamas. That's what we've learned. All right. So how much does an R35 go for?
I think they're still pretty expensive.
Yeah, I would think slightly less than R34.
What a time. Like, isn't the R35 just an all-around better car than the R34? But
for sure.
Wasn't in Gran Turismo.
I don't know. I kind of like the looks of the R34 better.
Oh, I do too, if I'm being honest. But that's fine. Who am I to say?
You're you, and that's all that matters.
I'm that boy racer who never grew up. The Peter Pan of cars. Okay. What's the price jump between the new Supra and an R35? Like twice as much?
I would say probably twice.
Oh, geez, that's a lot.
Oh, wait. Actually, what? The new Supra is probably 70, 80K Canadian?
I don't know.
You probably get a used R35 for like 100, 120. So, like, yeah, that's a bit of a jump.
106.
Yeah, that is
106.
I feel like I should have used that time researching all these costs instead of watching that pilot that Conan wrote in 1991. Anyway, okay.
Could have wrote down notes.
I could have wrote down notes, but instead I watched a pilot episode of a show that never got made on YouTube. Okay, cool. Okay. So we'll take the R35 off the table because that is really out of the realm. Now, the next adversary enters. It's the new Corolla, the GR, whatever. The new Corolla
Gerard exits the room.
Really? That's it. Gerard's done.
Yeah, I'm over it.
No, so now you have the GR86, the new Corolla, the Supra, and Nissan.
I think we already had the conversation. Really?
No, but now I'm just asking you to choose between the four cars.
Yeah, we already had the conversation. They're all lined up, and we already talked about all the decisions we would make.
Oh, well, I don't remember. Which one did you choose?
Well, it wasn't the GR Corolla.
It's the E63S AMG wagon.
Damn it. I think the Corolla fits the real estate question for Gerard a little bit.
I don't know, man. I got no love for that car, unfortunately.
I swear that thing's probably like a 2+2. Like, yeah.
Okay,
like,
I'll give you this. GR Corolla for GR86. I'll take the GR86, which is, seems pretty mind-boggling considering the new GR Corolla is supposed to be like super fast and super handling and super wet, you know?
But like, what's the price difference between those things?
It's probably huge.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
yeah, I'll take the GR86 any day over that thing.
All right. Kevin, I assume the same.
Like, okay, sorry. I have to say this. Now that you brought that car back up again, I don't know why I don't really like Subarus very much, but like, I feel like
Subarus?
I feel like that GR86 is basically just like an STI or WRX. And like, I just fully don't give a shit about those cars even a little bit, even though they're turbo.
But then you chose
wagon. I don't.
But then you chose the BRZ, which is great. You're like, get that Subaru out of here and give me the BRZ. No?
Yeah. I don't know. There's something about that weird, like little hatchback wagon thing that I'm not down with. It's like buy a wagon, you buy a fucking wagon, not a little hatchback.
Fair. All right. Okay. So that's off the table. I'd probably take the Corolla. That's fine. My feelings and thoughts don't matter. So then you end up back to the original three. That was a quick go. So you still...
Yeah, like, I don't know. I want the rear wheel drive, you know?
Yeah. Like, especially because, like
I don't want, like, no fucking hot hatch, like, 4-wheel drive, torque vectoring.
Unless...
I mean, it's going to be 70-30 and, like, whatever, like, but still, like, I still think I'd prefer just, like, rear wheel drive.
All right.
But if you were offering the AMG, the A45... I'll take that. No, that's like literally one of the fastest cars like ever. So
ever?
Well, I mean, it goes 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds, and it's a little hot. They call it a super hatch.
That's a fun made-up term.
Something like that.
Okay.
I mean, you can probably get the GR Corolla to do 3.5 0 to 60. It's probably already 4.5 like stock.
Yeah.
But then again, it's you sit in that thing, you know it's going to be shit. It's a fucking Corolla, man. Like, what's going to be good about it inside?
The problem is that you've driven nice cars. I've never driven nice cars, so anything is like a time machine when I get.
I mean, also,
yeah, probably be the nicest thing I've ever had.
You know? I'd be like, whoa, oh man. Cup holders that aren't dirty? No, I couldn't like that.
I mean, also, I was gonna say I'm older than all you guys, so like I'm fully all about the like. I just want to sit in a nice ass car and like it to be sick versus like sit in some fucking 12-year-old's car that's like a Corolla that like you know, I already got a
Okay.
12-year-old car.
No, but here, Gerard, I also would like to sit in nice things, but what I'm saying, it's all about perspective. And from my perspective, I don't know what nice means. You know what it means. I've shielded myself from the finer things in life. You're like, oh, I just want to have a nice glass of champagne. No, because it's expensive. Never want for what you can't have. You're like, I just want to have a nice glass of champagne every day when I'm done work. You know, I want to put my feet up and have a nice champagne. Yeah. And I'm just happy to have just like a okay beer.
Except I just drink water or iced coffee.
Yeah. Get real anxiety problems from all those coffees.
What about visualizing what you want and harnessing it?
There you go.
And then you put it out into the universe and then it comes back.
Yeah, there you go.
Don't you all have whole meetings about that at your work?
No.
All right, wave in the air. You got to cut that out.
No, why would I cut that out?
People from IQ Matrix are going to listen to this.
I like that you.
They're going to be like, right?
Well, you just said IQ Matrix, so it's fine. They'll be like, oh, Ryan must have 2 jobs. He works at IQ Matrix and IQ Metrics.
Whatever.
And SerialNine.
It's the metrics of
and
Matrix.
SerialNine.
Okay, so I'm gonna say though, honestly, like I like the new Z. And I wanted the new Z, and like, but it's funny because now that we sort of talk about it, I think it's a great idea. But like, I think the VR kills it for me, man, for sure. So I guess I'm probably getting the Supra, man. And honestly, like I think BMWs are kind of sick anyway. So
yeah, I probably getting the Supra as well.
But okay,
unless
hold on, pause.
Yeah,
I will say, I bet you good money that the Z looks better done up. I bet you money because the Supra puts it all on the table right away. It's like you're buying it's a car for people that like want a car that's crazy out of the box. I feel like the Z is like a blank slate. So like, you know what I mean? Like you're not doing like, unless you're doing Pandem wide body and all this shit to the Supra, and in the end, does it really look better? It just looks fucking crazier, right? You just end up looking like a giant dildo. You know what I mean? So the Z, like, I feel like it's done up, like, let's say, what do you call it? Like, not conservatively, but like tastefully. I feel like the Z would be a better looking car and less douchey. Like the Supra is a douchey car to start with, and then you modify it and it's like going to be extra douchey for sure.
I'm just fighting words.
Plus also I feel like the like performance look, let's say like you know, like it's like a bit of a track car. I don't think that look lends itself too well to the Supra. Like I think they look super dope, just dumped. Like, you know, obviously that's going to look good on the Z too, but I think the Z could pull off that, like, you know, it has like Advan GTs and like kind of chunky tires and like, you know, some wings and shit. Like I think that would look super dope on a Z. I can't see that look looking as cohesive on a Supra.
Oh, I don't know. The Supra makes me feel all sorts of like ricer. Like I'm like, yeah,
that's what I mean. It's like
but it's
borderline Type R.
Well, almost, but not. I mean, I'm not going to shoot it into space to fight other robots, but I mean, yeah.
Like, yeah, if I had the same level of car in a coupe, it would just be a total douchebag car. But like, if you have a modded like sedan or wagon, maybe it's just like you can have it pretty crazy.
I totally get 100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you can. My Blit can be the craziest thing on the planet, and like 90% of the people wouldn't know or even give a shit. Not that like,
yeah.
Like I don't need it to jump out and punch you in the face and be like, look at me, I'm fucking Supra.
I will say this though, is that the douchebag thing is a relative term. And I've shared this story before. I had a coworker who said like, oh, like they referred to my Aristo as a douchebag car. They're like, oh, your douchebag car. And I'm like, how is it a douchebag car? And they actually said
it has a wing.
It has wheels and
it has a spoiler. Like that wasn't even when it had the works on it. It had the walls on it. And they're like, it has a spoiler. And I was like, any car in that person's mind that had a spoiler, like factory or not, was a douchebag car.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, that decided it for me. By that, I mean, I haven't changed my mind from the beginning of the episode. Oh, good. What's that person doing?
I don't know, man. Honestly, I'd almost just say either or, except for the engine. That's probably just the 1 point more for the Supra.
Yeah.
I kind of am more interested in the looks of the Z.
Kevin,
is that the only topic we're talking about tonight? Is a Supra versus
we can talk
Z?
about something else. What else do you want to talk about?
How about I was thinking, let's talk about, I mean, you guys, I don't know if you guys even keep up with or know about anything, but what about with the price of gas today, and let's say you had to buy an EV.
Didn't we do this? But okay, go on.
I don't think we did we?
Yeah, we did, but that's fine. I don't mind. It's like, obviously,
what did we do?
Our mind. We said, like, then you talked about how you were looking at Teslas, and I got very irate with you.
But I mean, that's all we talked about was Teslas. There's a lot of new EVs that came out recently.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's do the EV talk, because now that's very, Kevin, your analogy again. I liked it. It's better than my analogy.
We're screwed.
Okay, so are you guys familiar with any or many of the new EVs by any chance? Probably not.
I photoshopped that one for you. I work in tech. Of course I know about all the electronic cars. Let's talk.
All right, Ryan, lay them all out.
Fuck, I lied.
Well, I mean, it's kind of a weird thing because, like, okay, so the average Tesla 3 right now, used or not, starts at 60K Canadian. So 60, probably for, I don't know, a new one's probably 100, but like anything that's on marketplace is 60 to 80K. So it's like, okay, well, you could buy a Model 3 that's like a couple years old, or you can buy some of the new stuff. So like there's that new Hyundai Ioniq 5 or whatever it is. That's like that's an $80,000 vehicle. You know that?
Yeah. The thing that's very offensive is you started this conversation with, I don't know if you guys know anything about this. And in a prior episode, you were calling that car by the wrong name.
Yeah. Well, I didn't.
No,
because
Kevin
if you look,
and I were correcting you.
Granted, though, if you look at the way it's printed on the back, the 5 is very close. So it looks like it's part of the Ioniq. That's why I thought it was like Ioniq Gis or it's like some weird thing. You know what I mean? But anyways,
the other thing is like, it's a Hyundai.
No, I fully agree. It's like
I'm not buying any Hyundai. Certainly no $80,000 Hyundai.
But that's the thing. It's like, yeah, when are we going to give these Korean cars a chance? Like, because they
literally said in that episode, I would
never
ever give them a chance because I drove a Hyundai Pony.
But no, I still
and you're like, not a chance.
But the thing is now it's like,
now I might give it a
even
chance.
Even the Hyundai is $80,000. So they have the Kia counterpart, the Kia fucking something 6. Like
they changed their logo,
6 or whatever.
So people like it more.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're still both like, let's just say, even if it's $70,000, like you can't buy another. Like there are no other EVs for, there's like the Mercedes and the BMWs and the Jags. They're all over
Mustang, e-tron. There's a Ford Mustang.
Oh yeah, that's a sick one too. The e-tron, the Mustang. Sorry, not the Mustang.
Not the e-tron.
Mach-E performance is over $100,000.
Which Kevin said if he ever won the lottery, he would buy one to rack it.
The base model is like $80,000. So you're gonna buy like some Ford EV for fucking $80,000.
It's got Mustang taillights, you
can buy a lot of gas for $80,000. You know what I mean?
This is true.
You buy a fucking like cool car and spend the rest of the money on fuel. You spend $20,000 and spend $60,000.
Yeah, but then we're all complaining about it. Like
jump to like the other stuff, like the luxury stuff, and it's like $150,000.
So you can literally buy a Tesla, which is an iPhone.
A Tesla used.
Yeah, you can buy a Kia or a.
This is an Android.
which is what I was going to say.
You're buying an iPhone and Android,
or an Android, and then I don't even know what a Ford is considered.
Yeah, that's like a Huawei or whatever.
BlackBerry.
No, they're like the plus one or Huawei.
Oh, the Google. You're buying the Google.
Yeah, Google phone.
Plus one. Okay, all right, fair. Or you spend a lot of money and you get like a bedazzled phone, which is your Rivians and all that.
The other crazy thing is obviously because I have been looking is you cannot buy a proper 7-seat SUV, large SUV that's EV. You cannot.
What about the Model
They probably
X?
can't get the mileage.
How many does the Model X seat?
Oh, that is 7 seats, but it's still not like big. No, that's like kind of like a weird.
I don't know how much you guys know about EVs. Turns out I know a little bit. Anyway, sorry.
Well, also, you know how much a Model X is.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, why? The doors are all gullwing and shit.
I don't know. It's just it's ugly, man.
But
you know what's actually funny now is all the Model S's are cheap, but they're all from 2015 and shit. But like I see a decent amount of modded Model S's in my hood. I saw it the other day. I was like, yo, that thing's sick. It had like Brixton forged wheels and it was like matte gray. And I was like, yo, that's like, it was super low. I took a picture of it actually. It was like,
I don't know
sick.
what fucking universe we're living in that this is the conversation that's.
But anyways, I'm just saying, like,
Gerard loves Teslas. That's basically
Gerard loves Teslas. He's contemplating.
You heard it here first.
No, I just love.
This is the final podcast. We'll be bidding you adieu.
Yeah, Gerard has come full circle.
It's come full circle.
Yeah. Now he spent so much time.
No, but listen. The Model S now, the original Model S now is basically like a UCF. You know what I mean? It's like the older, like, ooh, it was the top of the line one, but now they're kind of like shitty and not worthless, but like shitty and worth less.
Worth $60K.
Probably less, but it's like getting a UCF 20 for like $7,000, and you're like, man, this is a lot of car for not a lot of money. You know what I mean? Not that $60,000 is not a lot of money. I'm just saying, like, I think they're quite expensive new. But yeah,
is that what you want to do? You want a Model S?
No, I don't want a Model S.
You want a Hyundai?
No, I want like a fucking Suzuki Swift. I'm not spending $60K on a fucking Tesla. Like,
so now that Gerard has finally caught up to Kevin and myself on this whole topic, just that you were adamantly opposed to electric cars and everything else. How long now until you start like seriously considering an electric car?
Well, I've been trying to kind of maybe get the family into one because we both.
I think the reason Gerard's talking about it right now and knows so much about them over the last month is because Gerard's obviously been seriously considering it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I drive 40 kilometers a day to work and 80 kilometers total. That's a lot of fucking K. But yeah, so like you can get a plug-in hybrid and it goes like 40K on electric. But then after that, it's gas. But they're expensive as fuck. So like, I don't really know. That's the thing is like, does it justify it? You spend like all this money on a car to save the money that you're going to spend on gas? Like, it doesn't really make a lot of sense.
But how much are you spending on gas?
I don't know, a lot.
So I guess look at that into a car payment. It's not that this is the same, but a little how to look at it. When we were looking at property, it was always like buying. It was like, yeah, we should live in Port Moody. It's cheaper. When we were first moving here from Saskatchewan, Port Moody is a suburb for people that don't know, but transit was actually more expensive to get downtown to where I worked. So it was like, hey, you could put the extra $100 into a mortgage and just live closer to downtown, which is what we ended up doing.
Yeah.
Now that's probably not the same because cars don't actually hold their value or have a return like property does. So if anyone's actually business savvy and is shouting in the background, that's not the same. Fair point. But I think we're all into customizing cars, so we don't actually care about business or finance. I think like it's one of what's the saying? It's like fuck, I don't even know. It's like it's a dozen of one thing or half dozen of another or whatever.
6 to 1, half a dozen the other. Kevin's like, that's what Kevin's saying.
Oh, good. Kevin, where were you on that one? Oh, thumbs up.
I was waiting for you to stumble through it.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't get fractions. No, that's fine.
What are we even talking about here?
We are talking about, you're saying you can put a bunch of money, you can save a bunch of money on
your insurance by switching to Geico.
That maybe
gas. I mean, okay, so here's the scenario. Okay, here's the scenario. So maybe it makes a bit more sense. My wife drives a 2018 Sienna. It's, just regular 3.5 liter gas, seats all of our kids. It's pretty big and it's a van. So it's like convenient and shit, right? So there's a new Sienna hybrid out, right? So it's like, okay, well, we bought our van outright for like 28K. So own it, no payments, nothing. So like, I thought, well, shit,
brag.
like,
Love it. Go.
How's that a brag? How's that a brag?
It is. I don't know. I don't have money to buy a van outright.
I mean, it's just the way my family does it. They're like deathly afraid of payments of any sort. So
don't yell at me because your life's better than mine.
That's not. It's just a lot of people buy shit with cash. Anyways, so I'm just saying. So I was like, well, why don't we, finance the new hybrid one? Because it literally uses half of the fuel. It's a nicer vehicle and all this shit. But it's like, they're literally like 60 grand. So it's like, yeah, we'll trade in our van. We'll pay $300 a month for, I don't know, for 3 or 4 years to have this nicer vehicle. And it where does it end up being, worth it? Like, I mean, obviously the seats are nicer. The van is nicer, has different suspension. It looks fucking nicer. It's better on fuel. It's like tons of advantages that way, but it's also a difference of almost $30,000.
Wow.
And like, what do? You pay it, you're paying it off like incrementally, but like you could just not be paying that.
Well, I'm sure there's a math equation that could get you to the point of how long you'd have to drive that van for it to then redeem its cost.
Yeah, because that's the other thing too, is I was like, well, this thing's like losing value. Like, not that the hybrid one would lose value. I'm just saying, there's going to come a point where this van is fully worthless and the other van is not. Whereas like right now, I think we could probably still get our money's worth out of this particular van, like the exact same that we paid, because the whole shortage thing or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
I assume the new van is depreciating quicker than the old van, though.
Yeah, you probably could find it used, but then the problem with used is you can't get the low financing.
Yeah, I mean, you just get it through the bank.
Well, the bank financing is never,
it's not nearly as good as the like.
Yeah, like dealers, I mean, I don't know about right now, but dealers used to give you like 1.9 and shit, 2.9. It's like, you're not even using your own money. Like,
well, doesn't Tesla like give you the equation when you buy it? It's like buy blah, 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 and then savings over X amount of years.
But I mean, that makes sense because it's fully electric, right? Whereas like a hybrid or something, you still use fuel, you just use less.
Yeah. Maybe you should just get a fully electric car like you've been researching.
Yeah, it just doesn't really exist.
Well, I mean, they do. They just not for the price for what you want.
Yes,
it's too expensive.
You want to know what I looked up? That's like a plug-in hybrid. That's like, I was baffled by how expensive these things are. I didn't know Range Rovers were so expensive.
What? Of course.
Yeah, and then on a plug-in hybrid on top of that.
Yeah, so they have the Range Rover long wheelbase plug-in hybrid.
Plug-in hybrid Jeep worth?
I don't know.
Probably $60K.
We were seriously looking at the XC90 fucking recharge or whatever. It's like 90 grand.
That's like a Volvo.
Yeah, it's a Volvo with the Polestar upgrade and shit. It's pretty cool. It's like 500
Gerard does love a Volvo.
Yeah.
Back to his roots.
They're really nice inside. Holy shit.
The plug-in Jeep's $55 US.
Yeah, that's a lot of money, man. But I guess just cars
Everything's
right now are a lot of money.
Everything's a lot of money. And yeah, you're like, it's a brand new and it has like brand new technologies, like.
I don't know, man.
You just gotta stay strong or build a time machine. Which I mean, that is the saddest thing of all of this is like a few weeks ago, Kevin, you showed us that LS that was like dirt cheap.
Yeah.
It's like fully like, yo, that car is dirt cheap.
That's just it. You get a ton of car for like nothing.
But you get that car for nothing, and then you got to put gas in it to drive it everywhere. And it's like, oh, fuck, that thing's going to go through gas like crazy. And it's going to require premium, and it's going to Okay,
I got a question for you then. How about this? So would the coolest modified LS460 be cooler than the coolest modified Model S?
The coolest modified.
I think I have to sit this one out because I don't really like LS460s. So I would probably just take the Tesla because I don't like the 460. But like,
I imagine at this point, if you put both of the cars in front of us and counter to podcast rules, offered us the keys to one and said you had to drive it, we would probably all take the Tesla.
Yeah.
Kevin, would you?
Yeah.
That wasn't my question though.
I know. Is it cooler?
I will
Very
say the
specific
Model X
Japanese
looks better than the
videos.
Model 3 by a lot, just because it's a bigger, sleeker car.
Oh, the real estate for Gerard. Yeah.
No,
And Gerard,
it is a way nicer car.
you can get that
But
backwards.
apparently the
facing
build
seat.
quality is better on the 3s because the S has been around longer and that was what they like learned on and shit. I don't know. They're probably all shit.
I
anyways.
heard that they're not all great at all anyway, but
No, I know that I heard like they're total.
They're not all great at all.
you can get a backwards facing seat in the S, right?
Can you?
Like in the trunk, I think.
I don't know. That's weird.
Like a
I don't
rumble
know
seat.
if you know
That
anything
is
about
weird.
EV.
That
I
is
know.
weird.
Well, it's like old station wagons.
Yeah.
That like where you could, and then you thought you were going backwards in time. Backward
It's called a
facing.
rumble seat, Ryan. Don't
That's
you know
exactly
anything?
what I just said.
Why do they call it a rumble seat?
I don't know, man. Because that's what it was back in the day on like the Model Ts. You sat in like basically the trunk facing outwards.
Yeah, man.
You ready to rumble, man? You ready to jump out?
I like
Ready to
that we
rumble.
Gerard, go look at this. Again, we started this whole topic with, I don't know if you know anything about EV.
What am I looking at?
Rumble seat Teslas. You can do it in the Model S.
In the Model S?
Model S, yeah, has
X.
third row. S has third row.
because they have a
jump
long
seats.
version.
Yeah, it has Model S.
I just
S
typed
jump
in
seats.
Rumble S.
Rumble seat Tesla, or you can do jump
Only
seat,
suitable for kids.
which is like a dope name.
What is it called? Jump seats?
Yeah.
I put
It's
model.
called rumble seats. Haven't you heard of it?
That's an S?
Yeah, man.
What the fuck?
I swear,
Oh,
like
Gerard.
retracts into the roof or something. Or like, no, it's,
The
that
trunk,
guy would get
isn't
his head cut off. You have to be like super tiny.
it? Yeah, you got to be. It's for kids.
It's a 5-point harness for kids. That's actually kind of sick.
Oh man, I've done it now. I've shown Gerard that he can get wagon-like features on a Tesla.
Oh, dude, that's
Oh,
fucking
no.
crazy.
It's over
How
now.
did I not know about this? This is crazy.
Because you didn't care about these cars, and whenever we talked about them, you dismissed them,
Yeah,
and then
I
you
did.
made me hate them, and now you're okay with them. And I don't know. Up is down, left is right,
Well,
cats and dogs living
that's why
together
you
in
just gotta-
harmony.
So I got to form your own opinion, Ryan.
That's
No.
just so wild.
Tell me
I
what to do.
rely on my friends that are specialists to inform me on things.
Yeah, I
that
mean,
are
you got
special.
way more like fancy pants people than I do as far as that goes.
What do you mean?
Like Teslas, like how many people at your work have Teslas? Like all of them?
No, not all of them. We don't get
Half
paid
of them?
well. Nah,
I'll tell you what,
Probably.
nobody at SerialNine has a Tesla. So.
I would
You're
get. I would
100%
wager-
correct on that one.
I
I
have
would
friends that
wager
have
a
Teslas.
guess like 7 to 8 to 10 people have Teslas.
7 to 8 to 10.
Out of how many people?
In our office is like 100 and some. Is that? Yeah.
That shit is wild, dude. Rumble seats
Jump seats.
in the hatchback.
Oh my god!
In the
I've done something awful here.
You really
I feel
have.
like, I don't know. God damn it! I am happy that I got to quote Ghostbusters, which was very fun for me. Kevin, I will never form my own opinion. I will rely on you to inform me of all.
Well, I
opinions.
mean, like I do definitely pride myself on a bit of ignorance. So
just willful.
No, I don't like
ignorance.
it. Nah, fuck that shit. I don't like it.
No,
I'm just an old guy.
no. Yeah, you're
That shit's
like
garbage.
nah,
I don't
nah,
want
not
that
for me.
fucking plug-in garbage, man. That
And then
fucking
you
engine.
literally, and then you're like, I don't know how up on EV cars you guys.
I just
are.
meant like
I don't
brand
know
new
if you've
ones.
heard about. I
that
don't know if
people
you
can
heard about
afford.
this, but they have cars that run on electricity now.
Oh, really?
Oh no, Gerard. Yeah, there's this company named Tesla. It wasn't after the actual original Tesla guy who was a little bit crazy, but it's a guy who goes to space. He runs a company. Oh, good.
Nikola Tesla's a G, bro.
He was a little bit crazy though.
Okay,
Not nearly as crazy as Elon Musk.
So what's next, man? What's next on the agenda? What
I
type of
don't know
pets
what
are we
else
into
got.
here?
I like soft
Welcome,
pets.
jeans.
Soft pets. Are there hard pets? I guess so, like lizards, shit, or not. They're soft. Turtles. Turtles are not soft.
I like turtles. I don't like turtles.
Really?
Alligators.
Do you like or not like
Soft
turtles?
I have no opinion on turtles.
They
Aside
stink
from
like fuck. I'll tell
I
you
have
that.
no
much.
opinion on turtles.
They
Aside
stink.
from Ninja Turtles.
Before you came over, just talking about. I just watched Cruella. Like not all of it, but most of it. That's a sick movie. Sick, dude.
Why is it sick?
I was like, you have to tell Gerard this. Or sorry, you have to tell Ryan this. Get Ryan to opinion on the matter.
Why is it? I mean, it's a perfectly fine movie. Yeah, it's good. I watched it months ago, but yeah, I mean, what makes it sick? You just like the crazy fashion of it all?
I like the crazy fashion. I think Emma Stone's rad. I think even the like kid is rad. Like when she was a kid. I like the story of it because I mean, I don't really know the Cruella. That's not the original story. That's just like obviously some newfangled version.
No, that's the prequel.
But it's rad. Yeah, the fashion and the like everything's just it's so cool.
You don't know the story of 101 Dalmatians?
Yeah, that's what I thought. And I was like it's weird. But.
Yeah, that's the Cruella de Vil
Yeah.
from 101 Dalmatians.
Yeah.
Which would be Kevin can probably cover it from the Simpsons angle. Mr. Burns, see my vest.
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah.
Made from
your
gorilla vest.
Yeah.
Plus it's old England, which I think is cool.
Like that.
Oh yeah.
Did you
70s England? Oof.
Well, there you go. I'm glad. I like now that we're at this point where all these things that I kind of know about Gerard's finding out about, and I feel very relevant and like useful.
Yeah.
Usually it's just me hanging out with Gerard and he keeps saying congruent. And I'm like, oh yeah, very congruent.
I know a lot about cars, but like, man, I don't know a lot about a lot of other shit.
We had an argument where you said you knew tons about pop culture and you kept saying pop culture.
I didn't say no tons.
Well, I mean, everything we talk about on this podcast lives in my head rent-free forever. Okay, good. I don't know if that
feels torturous.
No, it's not bad. There's way worse things that could be in my head. I look, doing the podcast is one of my favorite things. It truly is. Every second Wednesday we do it. I'm very excited. And it's a lot of fun because it's like, I have like a allotted amount of time to talk about cars with people that are very informed and know a thing. And it's,
I'm definitely not very informed.
Well, you got Kevin's informed and Gerard has opinions.
I mean,
chaotic reason.
If Gerard's not informed, then what am I?
You're your own totally reasonable thing.
Been in a lot of internet fights recently. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, we could have talked about that. It was like, is it wrong to you shared a story of someone who said they preferred your product?
Yeah. And then the guy whose product he didn't prefer messaged me and said like, would you like it if I did that? I was like, yeah, just go ahead, dude. Like,
I mean, how did that end?
That was it. He didn't reply because I wrote out that lengthy thing that basically said, look, man, like if the product's good, the product's good. People will say it's good. If it's not good, people will say it's not good. And like, that's why you just put out the best product you possibly can so that like more people say it's good. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Like,
do your best.
Yeah. It's not like I'm like being shysty or anything.
Ooh, look at this guy's product seems to suck really bad. Like,
everyone's got an opinion.
How many internet fights have you been in?
Probably 3.
All of them.
What's a third?
There's a big one on Cressida right now.
Oh, really? About what?
Copying Arrow, like 12-year-old threads or 10-year-old threads at JZX Project. The same dude saying I like rip people off or we rip people off. And it's like, all right.
It's like that one dude whose personal vendetta it is anytime we post anything, like shit talk us. You know that guy?
The guy that kicked me out of that group, probably.
Yeah, 100%.
Fuck that guy for not wanting to be a reasonable human being.
And the car you rode in on.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I said. People are
talking about it. Be about it.
Yeah.
People are scrappy, man. Like people want to scrap about shit. Everybody's got tell a guy that you think his car is unsafe, and then he expects you to reach out to him and care so much about.
I know, right?
Hey, this other podcast, they wanted to know, so then they reached out to me, and then I explained it to them. I'm like, cool. Did they reach out to anybody else and get like other backstory? Is there any other information? Was there a counterpoint? Like, probably not. But it's cool. They just got on.
Did they state their sources? Did they have a bibliography?
Oh man, I posted something on the internet, and I'm personally offended that you had an opinion on a thing. He was not interested in having a resolution.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad we did this. I don't know if we have any takeaways. So what was our takeaway?
I'm taking away a fucking Supra.
Yeah, I'm taking away a Supra.
Actually, you know what? I don't know. I'm probably taking the Z. I'm taking the shit.
Give me the garbage. Give me the shitty thing. The Supra. I would take the Supra. I feel like, Gerard, you struggle between being an old person that you say you want to be and then not being yourself is the dilemma. You're like, I'm old. Because like the Supra, I bet you, is a more comfortable car, probably has like better gadgets. Like it's a BMW.
I don't think so. Apparently the Z is people were saying the Z's more comfortable and easier to drive in all situations, which is, it's a bit weird. Doesn't seem that way, but I don't know. Sounds like
Nissan slipped him a free Nissan.
Some salesman type shit.
Yeah. It's like, hey, Nissan just gave me this free car, and this free car is fucking the best free car I've ever got.
Yeah.
YouTube will deal with this. Here's my YouTube review. Hey, you guys, I've noticed a lot of people are making PSAs about keeping it off the street lately.
Yeah.
Drifting and streeting?
Isn't it like the Larry Chen one? Who made another one?
Then there was like this one from Alberta that I just saw. I think it's literally about people just being dumb at car meets. Like California's is for sure about sideshows. They're like, hey, don't do sideshows. The Alberta one, I think, is like, quit trying to do burnouts when you leave the show and then crack. Because like there's been a few incidences in Alberta where like people like lose it trying to do a burnout or like, like rip out and then they lose it. And I think like a Stinger lost it not too long ago and just ended up on a front lawn, an orange Stinger. So I think they're like, people want to, get the word out to not be a dummy. But so my question is, are you going to make a PSA?
Yes, we are.
The answer is, it's just Gerard telling people to build better cars.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm not gonna talk about it. I'm gonna be about it. So
exactly.
Coming up, a really cool car.
Another really cool car for Gerard.
I mean, I do think that the Blitz is a pretty cool car.
I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to be about it, and I'm going to take my car to the track.
Yeah, I'd love to take a car to the track.
Yeah, we don't really have a track. A listener reached out and yeah, we are going to the island.
Are you? When?
We got to figure it out.
Yeah, we got to figure that out.
Got to make a video about going to the island. We got to do
I can take the G to the island. That's a perfect island car.
Gonna get an island car.
An island boy.
Good. Somebody reached out, a listener reached out and was like, oh, how are things going otherwise? And I went through the last month and I was like, man, the last month sounds really shitty. I was like, so I got COVID and then I got sick from my daughter and then Kevin got in a motorcycle accident and then we couldn't go drifting. And then I was like, and he's like, oh, things will get better. And then when he said that, I was like, oh yeah, man, this sounds really bad. All the things that I just said. Like, how's the Aristo coming? Oh, I've been sick. I haven't been able to drive it. Got to find this part. And I was like, man, whatever I just said to him made it sound like he was my therapist. And I was like, oh, this is really sad. And I don't know how to turn it around.
Don't be like, I'm sorry. I'm super drunk.
I'm real drunk. No, Kevin, only you get those messages.
Oh, thanks.
And all my other friends at night. Not Gerard. I didn't want to bother him, but I wanted to bother Kevin on Instagram. Let's wrap this up. Hey.
Yeah, wrap it.
Or I can watch.
Wrap.
Wrap it up.
All right. So that was a fun episode where we talked about 2 cars that turned into 5 cars, and then was 4, 3, and then back to 2. And
we all just settled with the same one.
yeah, we except Gerard then threw a curveball at the end for no reason because he's.
Which was what?
You were like, "Oh, I'll get the Z," and it was like, but if I know Gerard now, in about a year, he'll come back and be like, "Yo, you guys heard of the new Toyota Supra? Don't know how much you know about it." Fucking sick. Anyway, as always, thanks for the question, Eric. And that's not as always. So thanks for the question. Love it when people write in because it definitely helps us come up with ideas for things to rant and rave about. And as always, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for spending your time with us. That was a nice ending.
It was.
Oh, that was a very nice ending.
Kevin waved.
I did.
Keep all of this in. All right.
Thanks for listening to Serial Podcast 9.